Okay, it's December 29, 2022. We're here with Paula Basil. We're in Deerfield, Florida, USA. I'm the interviewer, Adam Farmerman. And you can just put it down.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this, Paula.
My pleasure.
Nice to see you.
I hope I can help.
I hope so. So tell me your full name.
Paula Basil,
And what was your maiden name?
Paulina Goldstein
Paulina Goldstein.
in Poland.
In Poland.
That was in Poland.
Where were you born?
I was born in Uzbekistan
Yeah, when's your birthday?
in 1943, December 25th, 1943.
December 25th, 1943.
Yes.
So you were born outside of Poland, in
Yes.
Uzbekistan.
Yes.
Your parents were in hiding?
My parents were running away from Hitler, and they were always a step ahead. Hitler was just behind, and they were a step ahead, so I was born in Uzbekistan.
Okay. So your parents were obviously a young
Running,
couple.
yeah,
But they were a young
a couple,
couple.
yes.
How long had they been married when you were born, you know?
That's a very good question. I think my mother was early 20s, and my father was maybe 3 years older.
2 years older,
So it was like 24.
And they were both from the same town in Poland?
Yeah, no. My father was from Warsaw, and my mother was from Radom.
Okay.
But they lived in, I think that the parents later on lived around Warsaw.
Okay.
So they
Do
met.
you know how they met?
They never talked to me about
That's
that.
important. Did they both come from like Orthodox backgrounds or just sort of? opposite?
My mother's family was Orthodox, my father's not. Yeah.
Okay. And they were okay with that?
More or less. I don't think my father's family liked. Sorry, my mother's. Did I say my father's? My mother's family. I'm sorry. My mother's family was. They were Orthodox. My father's family not so much, but they kept kosher and as much as they could
Okay.
in Poland.
And I'm just making sure the recording is recording. What did your father do? Do you remember? Before the war, what was he doing?
Before the war, he was very creative in businesses. He always looked for different businesses.
So
I
he was
really don't. Yeah.
entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Okay. And your mother was at home, I guess?
My mother was at home. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So he was obviously educated.
Actually, not.
Oh.
Not much, because his father died when my father was 12,
Okay.
and he sort of had to help out, always look after the family,
Was he
help
the
his
oldest?
mother. He was the middle one, but he was always the one to help. There were girls, and of course, girls didn't do very much. So, being a boy, he always had to look after mother and the family, the rest of the family. So he didn't really have much of an education in school, but he was very smart. Later on in life, he never needed a calculator. He never needed a computer or anything like that. He knew numbers so well
Yeah.
that it was
Very-
amazing.
Very bright guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, not that you were born, but from what you know and what you heard, life was normal before Hitler came. They had a good life in Poland. They were happy there.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
anti-Semitism, not so much. Or,
Not so much. They never talked about that,
yeah.
And
So
before the war, it was just natural living. And I think, yes, my father always used to say that his father and my mother's parents, they never thought anything is going to happen. Like when my father says, let's run away, because things are happening in Poland, and bad things are going to happen, and all the pogroms that they had, and so on with the Polacks. But they said, oh, it's going to just go over, and things are going to be good.
they thought Hitler would blow over.
Oh yes, just like in any of the other countries, when you hear in Germany, in Austria, in Hungary, the Jews never thought that anything is going to happen. We're fine here. We have a little business, whatever, and I think my grandfather was a tailor, so they had a little business and they managed. So, and my father said, no, we have to run away. So I think he went to Russia over the border once, and then he came back.
Without your mother?
Without my mother. He wasn't married then.
Okay.
And he came back and he wanted to take out my aunt, his sister, and they said no, they're not going anywhere. This is fine. The life is fine. Anyhow, I think they got married, and who knows how they got married. We never heard about the what certificates or whatever, but I guess. And he took my mother. He took my mother. Then he went back to Poland. Wanted to take.
So when did he take your mother? It would have been once the war had started.
Yeah. Yes.
But before you
Yeah.
were born.
Yeah.
Was she pregnant with you?
No, not then. Not then.
So she wasn't even pregnant with
No,
that?
no. It must have been. Well, I was born in 1943, so they must have run away in 41, 42.
Do you know how they traveled? Was it by train?
God
horseback,
knows.
walk?
God knows. My father was in the army, the Russian army, and
At that time he was in the
at that time, yeah, that was the only way that he could go from one place to another. How did they travel? Oh, my father said sometimes they were in a train, sometimes they were in a buggy, and what did you eat? How did you eat there? How did you manage? If we found a potato, we were very happy with the potato, and we just ate the skin. And I know if we went to a farmer, we would get an egg there from them or some bread. It was just
So transportation was whatever he could find?
whatever he could find, whichever way they could go. And I think they met some friends that they were in contact, also Polish people that were in contact all the time. And if they found a place to sleep, that's where they were sleeping. Sometimes it was in a farm. It was in a definitely
so it's
not.
almost like he made his own little sort of underground
Yes.
railway.
Yes, and how did he end up in Uzbekistan? I guess it was probably safer there.
Yeah.
It was far away. I mean, it's a place of so far from where we were, from Warsaw. When you think about it, it's
However he got,
Yeah.
there, he got there.
yeah.
So whatever, buggies, horse and buggy,
Yeah.
trains, cars,
Yeah.
whatever he could, horseback.
And there were.
And he was in the Russian army the whole time during this period?
First, I think it was Polish, and then Russian army
served in both.
until he got there.
The point of him serving was so that he could help people get out.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
he did it. He didn't serve to fight.
No. And this way he was able to. I think he also took out some people, some friends from
What
Poland.
was your father's name?
Goldstein,
No. Do you remember his first name?
Jaime,
Goldstein.
yeah,
Interesting.
He had-
Do you know when he was born?
1917,
Your father was born in 1917.
17.
So he was still a young man when all this was going on.
Yes, yeah. But he was very shrewd. That's all I heard. He was so. I heard that actually from his other friends who immigrated to Israel, and there was a couple in Chicago. So when I talked to them, they always said that your father was, I mean, he knew how to get places and how to find food, how to find, how to live. You know, they had survived. He was a survivor.
And then,
So-
and then him and your mother were hiding up in Uzbekistan,
Yeah,
and along came you.
yeah. Christmas.
Wow.
The busy time
Yeah.
with all the I don't know Turks and Muslims there. Anyhow,
And were you living? Were your parents living sort of Jewishly in Uzbekistan, or just kind of living? They were just people?
living.
They didn't,
Are you
they didn't advertise
kidding?
They were.
Are you kidding? They didn't, and of course, you know, a pregnant woman needs to eat proper food. I don't think my mother had any proper food. If she found a piece of bread, if she found a potato, And then what happens, you know, now we know that a pregnant woman has to have enough of this and enough of that because the child does not develop properly. I do have a problem now in me because my mother did not have a proper nutrition. So anyhow, this was just survival, that's all. And I was the only one, the only child in a group of eight or 10 people that they sort of traveled together.
Was your father there when you were born, or your mother was alone?
No, I think my father was there. Yeah, my father, my aunt also.
Oh, he
was there.
eventually she did.
Yeah. That's my mother's sister.
Did anybody else from his family come, or they didn't?
I think it was my father's. No, it was my mother's brother. My mother's brother also came, and they were traveling together. And the rest were just friends that they met.
So his family never came with him?
No.
None of them.
And actually, my father went back, and he begged his father was dead, but he begged my mother's father to come.
He begged his mother.
My mother's father.
Oh, your mother's father.
My mother's father, because his father died.
Father-in-law.
His father died. His father-in-law. He begged her, come. You know, come. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't come. He didn't want to. The youngest. There was a youngest. My mother's sister, and
She didn't go either.
no.
So his sisters didn't go. His brother didn't go.
One of my mother's sister, and
Your
my
aunt went. Your
my
mother's
aunt,
sister,
yeah.
But on his side of the family,
Nobody.
Nobody. They were
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Does he know? Did he know what happened to them? Were they captured and taken to the camps?
One of them, my grandmother and two. My father's sister and his mother, they immigrated to Israel. Now, I never found out how they got there.
They got there
from Poland. Yeah, I never found out how they lived through the war.
So they weren't in a camp, but
they were
survived.
not, but they survived and they immigrated to Israel.
Okay.
And then my grandmother, that's my father's mother, passed in Israel, died in Israel, and the sister died in Israel too. But
Did she have a family?
she had children.
So you still have relatives?
We're not in touch with them, but they're in France, somewhere in France now. We're not in touch with them.
Okay.
We sort of lost
These
touch.
would be your cousins?
My cousins, yes, yeah.
And then, so it was a very small part of the family that survived with your father. The rest of
Yeah.
them just refused.
Yeah. So then we ended up in 1945, we ended up in Poland.
So do you have any memories?
From 43 to 45,
Anything
nothing.
that you remember?
Absolutely nothing.
No?
Absolutely nothing. How we went to,
But you were always with your mother
and yeah,
They
and
took care.
my mother's sister, I have a cousin. She was born in 1945. She was born in 45, and she was also born in Uzbekistan. Okay, so I think she was just a few months old when they left to go to Poland.
Okay. So do you know how your parents found out the war was over?
No.
No, I guess he just sort of kept tabs on what was going on.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so he knew the war was done and he wanted to go back to Poland.
Yes. Yeah.
Was there? Do you know if they ever discussed like going to Israel or the States or Canada, or he just wanted to go back to Poland?
Just wanted to go back to Poland. My aunt immigrated. She said she's going to Canada in '48 because someone sponsored her. She had an aunt here, or some relative, sponsored her. So she, with the whole family, and I think my cousin was about 2 years old. In '48, they went to Canada, and then they started making papers and everything, visas, to sponsor us.
Your family went back to the same town in Poland?
Yes.
So you went to Radom?
No, we went to Wrocław.
Wrocław.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where his friends, he found friends or whatever, and that's the town. It's a very big city, industrial city in Poland, and so that's where we stayed. We had an apartment. We
But
started our life.
But they didn't go back to where their
Didn't go
parents
back
lived?
to no, didn't go back to where
Did
the
he ever
parents.
find out what happened to the family or anybody? Or he never? They died in the war and that was it?
The only thing that we heard is my mother's brother was one of the partisans in the Sobibor uprising, and he, when they, at the end of the war, I think when they opened up and let everyone out, he ran away, and he was killed on I think a mine, something he stepped on the mine and got killed right at the end. So
But otherwise, everyone else died.
Everyone else-
Either they were shot by the
Yeah,
Nazis or
yeah,
they were in the
yeah,
concentration camps,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
don't know which ones.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay, so your father and mother decided after the war. See, this isn't something I've heard too often where anybody would go back. You know, most people would go from Russia to try to go to
Germany, they
Israel
go
or
to Germany,
or wherever.
another,
guys
and
went
in the
back to where
DP
you
camps or
lived?
whatever. No, we didn't go through any of that. We went back to Poland, had actually a
In
very
1945, you ended up back in Poland.
Yeah. So I remember my life was quite good.
Was it a Jewish community there, or was it just you guys? And
There were
you lived a quiet Jewish life.
quiet Jewish life, very quiet Jewish
You
life.
you weren't walking around with a kippah and a
No, no, no,
You didn't
no.
advertise it.
No, we didn't advertise anything like that.
But you did.
But we
Shabbat?
kept with Jewish couples.
Yeah.
My parents had 6 or 8 Jewish friends from their childhood.
Who'd also.
Also went back to Poland, the same town, city, and we stayed in contact with them. We went on holidays together. We went, we saw each other on
So
different
your
occasions.
parents built a new life, a good
Yeah,
life in
yeah.
Poland.
My father was a businessman. He had a store, a glazier store, and he was.
Was there a shul in the area that you?
Yes,
went
there was a
to? So you
shul in
went to
the
shul
area.
for high holidays and things
That's
like
it.
that. That's
High holidays and Passover. And I remember we had matzah for Passover. And I remember my mother bought fish. And how she bought fish, the fish was bought with the head, the whole fish, and put in a bathtub. And then it was killed. and that's how she made gefilte fish or whatever.
I can relate. A really quick aside. My great grandmother
Yeah.
would have been probably a little bit older than your parents, but.
Well,
when I
I'm
was-
79. I just turned
She
79.
was
So
born in 1899 or 1900.
Yeah.
And when she came to Canada,
That's
how
what
made
she
the
was
gefilte. She'd go buy a carp in the store, put it in the bathtub,
Yeah.
and she'd chop the head off and make gefilte fish.
yeah,
It used to make
Yeah.
my mother sick
yeah.
because she made it from.
Yes, yes. You didn't buy anything. You didn't go to buy a fillet or anything
Yeah.
like that. Chicken, the same thing. Go to the market, and it was every day was shopping, and buy a whole chicken, and I guess skin it. But we had help,
So
and
your father was successful. after the
yes, we had a phone even. I remember. I mean, nobody else had a phone. We had a phone
war. In Poland.
in Poland.
After World War
After yes, a lot
and,
of
and you had a lot of friends, and you were like
yes,
great again.
yes. I went to a music school. My sister took ballet classes.
When was your sister born?
My sister was born in 48.
After you came back.
Yeah, yes. And then I had another sister.
Also
I have
born.
another sister in 1955, also born in Poland.
Okay, so you're 10 years older than your youngest sister.
Yeah.
And so you went to a music school. Did you play piano? or-
Yes, I had a piano in the apartment with a grand piano in the apartment. the apartment was heated with coal. That's you wake up in the
It's
morning.
amazing. And, you know,
You wake up in the morning and it's freezing cold. You put the coal. The apartments were like the bedrooms were all in a circle, and the coal and the oven, the stove was right in the middle. So that heated the whole area, and so you wake up in the morning, it's freezing, and at night it was warm. Okay, that was the heating system. The fridge, they used to bring ice packs. Those ice packs up the stairs, no elevators, up the stairs to the ice box. That's what we had, an ice box. And if you had something like butter, you put it on a windowsill. You know, eggs, butter, meat on a windowsill because this ice pack didn't last very long. That was a lifestyle, but
it was a modern lifestyle.
it was a very modern lifestyle. You didn't go to the stores to buy clothes. Everything was handmade, sewn. You had to go at the beginning of the year. You went to a dressmaker and bought the fabric. And the fabric, it was very hard to get all these things. You had to go to a special store that sold it and was sold out right away. And the dressmaker, from the patterns, would make clothes. And we had uniforms. And sweaters were knitted.
You had uniforms for school?
For school, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was... other than that, it was a very good life. In the wintertime, we went skiing. In the summertime, we went to a place on the water with another couple and their children.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a nice life. There wasn't much anti-Semitism, or you?
I didn't.
I
never felt it. I never felt anything like that. My father was afraid, but he didn't want to travel with a young child. My sister was born in 1948. He didn't want to. He had a good business, so he says he's not traveling with a small child, and that's when my aunt sent the visa for us, and then they closed the border. That's it, and we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then my sister was born in 1955. So finally, we left in 1957, and we got a visa to go to Israel.
What did you speak at home? Did you speak
Polish.
Yiddish?
Polish. My parents spoke Yiddish between themselves.
Yeah.
I spoke Polish only.
Okay.
I never spoke any Yiddish. But I understand. I understand it, but I don't. I don't speak it.
So you and your sisters all spoke Polish.
Mm-hmm.
You were
Yeah.
good little Polish, quietly Jewish girls.
Yes. Yes.
You went to school and you had a good life, and then.
Yeah.
And then how long did you live in Poland for? Did you grow up there as a
Yeah.
teenager? Or?
Yes. 1957, we left.
Until 1957, you were there.
Yeah.
So you were.
About 12.
You were becoming a teenager.
Yeah.
When you decided to move.
Yeah.
And why did your father by then decide that's it?
I think he was afraid
Yeah.
that things are going to happen.
Again.
Yes, and obviously we couldn't go to Canada. It was hard to sell the business and to and I think the money, you couldn't take out any money. Whatever money you had, you couldn't take out from the country.
Yeah.
So it was a hard transition, but
What did you decide to do? Where did you go?
well, we went to Israel. My father had a brother in Israel.
Okay.
So
So one of your father's siblings did survive.
yeah, the brother. And
They're the ones. Him and his mother went to. No, that was
No,
your
no.
grandmother who went to Israel.
Yeah,
Okay.
but my father's brother had a shikun in Israel and Ramat Aviv,
Yeah.
and so we stayed there with them until we were able to get our own place.
Do you remember how you got from Poland to Israel?
I think we went by ship.
You went on a ship.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any memories of the trip, or?
It wasn't very good. It wasn't a cruise.
No,
It wasn't a cruise ship. I was bringing up all the
Oh,
time.
it was like a freighter type of thing?
Somehow, all I remember is that just going on the ocean was not my. I was bringing up all the time. There was no. It must have been. Yeah.
Do you remember how long? It was like a few weeks?
It was a long trip. I don't remember how long, but it was a long. First of all, I think at first we traveled to Italy. We traveled by train, and then we took the ship.
From Italy?
Yes,
shipped to
yes,
Italy.
because I think in Milan my father wanted to buy some goods that he would be able to take to and sell in Israel.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he bought a whole big bottle of Chanel number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Don't, it was like a liquor bottle of Chanel number 5, thinking that he could sell somewhere on the market there in Israel and make some money.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
So you did this perilous shipboard trip to Israel with,
Yes.
with your parents and both your sisters.
yes,
So you had a baby sister who was
2 years old.
She was 2, and,
Yeah.
and then your middle sister. And
Yeah, yeah.
And your parents. Did anyone
Yeah.
else go with you, or was it just?
No, just us, just
Okay.
us.
And then you got to Israel, and you moved in with your uncle.
Yes.
And how
and
was
we
that,
lived there.
that must have been a culture shock.
Ah,
Going from your comfortable life in Poland
my
to
goodness.
the desert.
No, it wasn't a desert. It was a city. It was a town. But
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't speak the language. I hated it because I felt like I was transported from all my friends that I had in Poland, the language, the different climate, everything, and here I am in Israel. No, I did not like at the beginning Israel. I did not want to learn the language. My parents sent me to a place called Alonei Tzhak, which was like a camp for children from all different countries, basically to assimilate and to learn the language. And so I was sent there, and my sisters went with my parents. My parents got an apartment, and we lived there for 2.5 years. 2.5, 3 years.
What does your
yeah.
father do for work there? Same sort of thing, different jobs?
Different jobs. I think he was a milkman. He was delivering milk. He was tried to be very entrepreneurial.
But eventually life there got better too. I mean,
Yes,
you made
yes.
friends and
Yes.
you learned to like it there.
Yes, absolutely. At the end, I mean, what's there not to like? It's a beautiful country, and but the adjustment, I guess because I was, 12 years old, and a teenager, and to throw me into another country, another language, was very difficult. My sister loved it. She had a very good life there, and my other sister, they learned the language much quicker than I did. And so 2.5 years, and then we came to Canada.
And by then, your uncle sponsored you you went to Toronto.
Yes.
So was it
Yes.
the same sort of thing? Did you travel again on a ship?
I think it was a flight. Then we took a plane.
And you flew to Toronto?
Yes.
And this is,
And
was this 1960?
57 we left us. About 1960, 2.5 years, 1960.
Okay. It must have
Yeah.
been another culture shock though.
Absolutely.
Was it winter time when you came?
My sister would know that better. No, it wasn't winter.
Okay.
No, it was summertime that
So
we
it
came.
wasn't, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no, it was summertime that we came.
Yeah, and
And
how did your family set up in Toronto? How did you live?
My mother's sister
Yeah.
had a triplex, so she settled us in the basement. The lower apartment was empty, and she was in the middle apartment, and the top apartment was rented. So we stayed in like a 2-bedroom apartment. She got furniture, I think, donated from some charities or whatever. So we were actually very well taken care of, because we didn't go downtown where in the 60s there were a lot of Jewish people downtown, living downtown. We were in the midtown.
Sure, near Lawrence, I guess.
Lawrence Marley,
Okay, I know where that is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence Marley area, that's
So
where.
you were at Marley and Lawrence.
That's right. I went to Bathurst Heights.
Yeah.
I went to Lawrence Heights first, grade 9, then Bathurst Heights.
So you
And
lived in this apartment a long time.
we lived there, yes, for I think 5, 6 years. No. That was 4 years. And then my father bought a house on Avenue Road, on Joycey,
Okay.
which is Joycey Marquette area
Yeah.
on Bathurst.
Yeah.
So a bungalow, and we moved there.
And what
The whole
did your-
family.
What did your father do in Toronto?
He actually had a store on Kensington,
Okay.
a dry goods store.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Gold's Dry Goods.
Okay.
And first he was working for someone in Kensington, and then he bought this business, and he did quite well
Yeah.
from the business.
Great.
Yes.
And your mom kept the house.
My mother was with my father, working
Oh,
with
was
my
she in the
father
store?
in the
Yeah.
store. Oh,
And
yes.
did she like Toronto? She was happy in Toronto too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were happy that they came here, and they built themselves up.
Yeah.
You know, my father bought a house from this. He made 2 weddings in 1 year, also with 400 people in one wedding, 400 people in another wedding. We both got married in 1968. I got married in July. My sister got married in December. So 2 weddings in 1 year. It's a lot.
Busy year.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your parents lived a good long life in Toronto.
Yes, my mother died at the age of 96, my father 97. They bought this condo here. They lived here, they came here.
And how many kids did you have?
I have 2,
You have 2?
yes, a boy and a girl.
Yeah, and they're grown up there too. I
They're
guess.
grown up, yeah. My son is 51, my daughter is 49,
And you have
and I have 4 grandchildren. Yes, they're a boy and a girl from my son, a boy and a girl from my daughter.
that's great.
And they all live in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah. And your husband?
I'm not married now.
You're not married yet?
Yeah, I'm divorced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're happy.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
yes.
winter-
Life
you-
is good.
You winter here. And you go home?
Yeah, and I go back home. Yes.
And you still live in the same area in the city?
Yes, Avenue Road in Lawrence area.
Terrific.
Yes. So we're very close together, the whole family. Children live not too far away. And
So you get to see your grandchildren all the time?
yes,
Great.
yeah.
And your sister's close to you too?
My sister's close, and she's here now in Delray. Yes.
So terrific. Well, thank you for telling me your story.
Well, not much of a story, but
Listen, you know what? I honestly, I interviewed several people, and I've never heard of anybody that went back to Poland after the war.
and said
So they were
that their life was good.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
mean,
interesting.
when I think about it, you know, there was nothing that we didn't have.
Yeah.
You know, nothing that I can say we did not have. We had summertime going away on holidays. Wintertime we went skiing.
Yeah.
And
You had a beautiful home to live in.
yeah.
Have you ever gone back?
To Poland? Yes, I did,
And
actually.
Any of your friends were still there? Or?
No. But I went to Israel. My grandson had a bar mitzvah in 2019. So I went to Israel, and I met the friends that my parents' friends' children that are my age. I met them there, and I couldn't believe they speak Polish fluently. They speak between themselves for Polish, and they look at me, and they say, "I can't believe you don't speak any Polish." I said, "No, because I moved from and they also went to Israel. From Poland, they went straight to Israel. So and they speak Polish between themselves, like the two sisters, and they can't understand. They stayed and they stayed in Israel, but they speak Polish fluently. How does that happen? I guess they come in contact with people that speak Polish, and they continue with that language. Whereas me, I didn't want to speak. As soon as I got to Canada, I told my parents, I want to learn English. I don't want to speak any Yiddish. I don't want to speak any Hebrew. I just want to learn English. And I wanted them to communicate with me in English. And that's why I lost the language. But I can understand when people are talking Polish. I can understand what they're saying. But I cannot communicate with them.
Do you have any photos you want to show me of your family?
I don't have anything, nothing here. I only have the pictures of my children. That's it, but nothing. All the pictures from our life in Poland, I have a few at home, but nothing here.
Thank you very much again.